All right, Sunshine, you already know we about to go in.
You ready?
Of course I am ready. I was born ready.
Well, let's go.
Are you sure you're ready to go?
I was ready to go.
Okay, I was ready to go too. Let's get it.
It's the truth about a boss.
Welcome to another episode of Talk About It Tuesday with your favorite host, B. Brown, the Revolutionary.
And Sunshine Lorena. It is Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
All right, and today we have a very, very special guest with us. We got GeeLo Rose Lopez in the house.
Thank you for
Now
having
let's
me,
show us
guys.
some love. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, because we want to give you a warm welcome. Because, for one thing, over here, we like to encourage people. We also like for people to share their stories. We like to open our audience up to people that are entrepreneurs and are doing things by themselves or they have a special gift. This is something that we want to do to definitely show love.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I am extremely humbled and excited for today's show. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Want to give a shout out to Maddie Fresh in the house. She said, hey, y'all.
Hey, Maddie.
What's up, Fred? How you doing?
Maddie's funny as hell. I think I saw her on one of y'all. She is hilarious.
Yes.
You never
Cut up. That's right. All right. So, well, first things first. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, so my real name is Gerda Lusant. So that's always a difficult name for people. So I go by GeeLo. I kind of stole that from CeeLo and somewhere JLo. And I created GeeLo. And I live out. I'm from the Bahamas. My parents are from Haiti, and I grew up in Miami. Yeah. So I've been living in I grew up in Miami, and I've been living in the state of Florida for over 40 years. So when I was younger, I used to rap. I always loved to rap. I also do some poetry every now and then. So sometimes you'll see on my page, I'll rap sometimes, do some poetry, or a writing piece or whatever. You won't believe this though. I started writing film in 2014. And
wow.
That wasn't that wasn't too long ago. Working in the medical field, you see so many things. So one of my first projects was called Beyond the Epidemic, but it got changed to Russian Roulette. And while I was shopping it, trying to find like someone to film it or shoot it, I encountered a lot of cinematographers that were like, this is a little bit too difficult. I don't think we can execute this, blah, 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 whatever the case was. And so since it was a difficult and challenging project to shoot, I just kept writing about different things and coming up with different ideas for, certain films or short movies. And I remember one day a friend of mine, they're no longer my friend, and we'll get into that in a minute. But a friend of mine called me. I said, I have another idea. How about we talk about parenthood, fatherhood, mix that all up with childhood trauma, and I'm going to create, some sort of film that shows all these dynamics, all the stuff that we go through as mothers and stuff like that. And this is where you have to be careful. So the person to be like, yeah, we could do this and we could do that. No, we cannot. This is something that I'm doing.
Yes.
So people are quick to insert themselves.
I was just about to say that.
And I'm like, no, I'm doing this. I'm writing this. You can be a part of it. You can help produce it. But this is something that I'm going to take care of. So that's how it all began. So we had a casting call in 2019. We had 2 casting calls. And can you guys still see me?
Yeah,
did it go dark?
Somewhat, yeah, but it's
okay.
Not that good.
Okay, hold on. Let me just get it back on. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. So so that was an easier project to execute because there wasn't any special effects. There weren't any, things that you have to things that we were not privy to, or things that we just could not hold in our hand. So Through the Eyes of a Child was much easier to execute. So on the weekends, that's when I get to write and shoot film, because I do work full time. I work 2 jobs full time. I work in the healthcare industry. And so this is something I do extracurricular. I also write for other people. I just got through writing a film for a young man out here in South Florida, and I'm working on another one with another young lady out in Atlanta. So this is not the only thing that's coming out for me. There's other things that I've co-written, and I'm proud to take the co-writing stance on that. You know what I mean? I feel like whenever somebody asks you to, help them with something, that is their idea. They are the creator. I'm going to help you execute it. So that makes me a co-writer, and I'm okay with that. And I've always been okay with that.
Exactly.
So, so it's just me out here in South Florida now with my children. I have about 3 kids, 2 which are an adult. They're both adults. And then I have one that's 17. He'll be 18 next year. So 1 more to go.
Okay,
and
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, so before we get into the film, for those that are watching, y'all, she has a film on Amazon. You can catch it on Amazon Film. It's called Through the Eyes of a Child. So make sure y'all go and check that film out. But before we get into that, I have a few questions. What prompted you to get into writing?
I don't know if it was because my children were older and I can concentrate. You know how you have little ones? When I started having kids and they were small, I stopped rapping. I stopped doing all the things that I love to do. And so as they got a little bit older and a little bit more independent, I started dabbling with writing. I had no clue what I was doing. None whatsoever. I just knew I had these thoughts and ideas in my mind and they needed to be written.
Okay.
Now, writing, I had to learn how to, use the app. I was calling people. I was calling my friend. He was a news anchor. How do you do this? How do you do that? He sent me a software called Final Draft. And it's pretty much a template for screenwriting. And I learned how to use it, and it was on from there. And that's how I took off from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that you found a hidden gem within yourself.
I did. I really, really did. And I have to say, because I know we're talking about Through the Eyes of a Child, but when I wrote Russian Roulette, I was working in the healthcare field at this time, heavy, and it was just so many things that I was seeing with patients and their sicknesses and their diseases, how they manifest and all that. That's why I wrote Russian Roulette. That's where Russian Roulette comes from. Just having that background in the medical field.
Yeah, I did 10 years in the hospital, so I know exactly what you mean.
Right. And I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but Yeah, it's a lot of stuff behind these scenes in the medical world.
Mm-hmm.
So I just figured out how I can write a review. I just seen it, y'all. So I'll make sure I do that
I
because
appreciate
I
it.
totally adored the film. It was really good. It tackled a lot of things. Quick question:
Yes.
will we get a eye full of this Russian roulette one day?
One day when it can be executed, because remember, the way I'm shooting and the way I'm filming, you have to get permits to get into these hospitals or doctors' offices. You can't just shoot. You know what I'm saying? Unlike Through the Eyes of a Child, I was shooting in my home. I was shooting at my kid's school. Stuff like that. Those things were accessible. But trying to shoot Russian roulette, it would have to be on a larger scale with a larger budget and with some people that know what they're doing and they can get me into those spaces.
So I believe it's going to happen one day. What y'all think?
Oh, I know so.
Come on now.
Definitely.
Let's go and give her some of this good old it's going to happen energy.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't believe in limitations at all ever in life. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
You never know. Somebody could be watching this, hear you talk about that movie and be like, you know what? Let me make it do what it do.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I take it. I receive it.
Yes.
I know that's right. To the fullest.
Yeah.
Okay, so as y'all can see on this Prime video, it says Through the Eyes of a Child. She already got 5 stars, and I'm definitely going to add my review, and I'm not just doing it because I know of Miss Rose Gold Pen, but I'm going to give my real true feelings about the film, okay?
Please do. Yes.
And
Raw
says,
and uncut.
That's right. It says deep cinema healing focuses on childhood trauma and how it shows up in adulthood. All right, so we got our directors, Two Real Queens, starring Cedric Cope, Aiden Brady, kids and drama. Okay, so can you give me a little inside scoop on Two Real Queens?
Yes, that was an entity that I was a part of that I helped develop, grow, and we were executing projects under that name at the time. And so we had a lot of differences during that process. Some things were being done behind my back that I didn't appreciate. Like, for example, someone going to get copyrights through WGA. Someone pretty much not giving me credit for what I'm doing. So I remember one time they referred to me as a typist. I'm like, I'm a typist? Okay.
Wow. You got to be kidding.
I'm not kidding. So this individual came in, on the back end, was never interested in film at all. Let's just be frank about that. They were never interested in film at all. But then when people see something going, they want to be a part of it and they want to keep some sort of connection to you. And so that's what happened. And so they were very persistent in, okay, let's do this and let's do that. And the name of the company, it has a unique spelling. Okay. This is something I can't lie, but we both came up with that name. But in changing a Q to a K and an S to a Z, that does not make you the owner and president of the company. So a lot of people, some people come on and they think, okay, I changed this and I changed that. What does that mean? I am still the core creator. I am still the one that's writing and creating. So my issue with the person was whenever they would go out and direct someone else's film or someone else's production, they got credit. It never said, the name of the entity was directing. It said the name of the person that was directing. Right? So now, why is it that when I'm writing, it has to be the name of the entity that wrote it and not me as GeeLo at the time. Why not just me as the writer? So the person never wanted to give me credit for writing. They wanted the company to get the credit for writing. And I felt like that was unfair and that didn't make any sense. Especially after talking to other authors and other writers, they were like, no, you need to get credit. You need to get credit for writing these things.
Yes.
So we would constantly have turmoil about this, about, the writing. I'm doing the writing. It's my idea. I created it. Give me my credit. They refuse to do it. They refuse to do it. So that ultimately caused the demise of the company. I dissolved the company in 2021. And there's more to the story. And I'm pretty sure that person has a different version of the story. But I dissolved it. I went on sunbiz.org and I dissolved it. And when I dissolved it, they were supposed to take down all the social media pages, not operate the email. Let's fix whatever issues that we have, or let's finish finish whatever we need to finish under this company name, but we're going to stop working together and merge in our own path and direction. Well, this individual refused to do that. And so they kept the social media pages running, they kept the email running, and they kept doing their thing. Okay. Totally, I sent a cease and desist to no avail. They continued to process, they continued to operate those pages. And so I was like, you know what? I was at a point where I was giving up. I had my footage, I had everything. But I was giving up because working in film, even having 2 people on a team, it was rigorous.
Like, I know exactly what you mean, honey.
Sleepless nights, crying, stressed out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this film out.
Yes, ma'am.
I called a couple of lawyers. They told me what to do. I launched Rose Gold Pen.
Come on.
And they kept the business entity running. So I started, posting the stuff about, through the eyes of a child. And I always say associated with, because at the time I was with that company. So I was director and producer and writer. But now that I'm Rose Gold Pen, I'm taking my writer's credit.
Right.
And that's not making too many people happy, but it is what it is.
Okay, so let me just show y'all this. Boom. Put it up there, Rose Gold Pen.
I love it.
So that's how Rose Gold Pen was launched. And that's what we were supposed to do. Just go our separate ways, but still finish business under the business name before we go our separate ways. They didn't want to do that. So here we are. But as you can see, when you log into Amazon Prime, the very first thing you see is credit to that entity.
Yes, ma'am.
I was part of that entity. This was a passion project, which means that no one got paid. Nobody. From the cameraman to the kids that were actors, nobody got paid. So I said, I got to put this film out one way or another. And that's what I did. It took 1.5 years to get it on Prime, to get it edited. I paid editors. I paid a sound engineer so he can score the film. There's a lot of background work that I had to do to get this where it is now. So
but you got it done.
I got it done.
It's on Amazon.
I got it done. Like one of my friends would say, but did you die? No, I didn't. I got it done. You know
what? I am so glad that you are telling this story, because I was telling Sunshine the other day, now I fully understand why everybody is solo. What they're doing. And they just hire people to come in and work for them, because I've been a part of numerous teams and I'm over it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would rather deal with people that have like minds like me. We do a
Right.
contract and then we just make things happen. Because when you become part of a so-called team,
Right.
people start feeling a ways if they don't feel like they're doing enough and you're doing a lot. Because let's be real, G, sometimes there's going to be this one person, they may have like 70% of all of the ideas, how things are supposed to go, the direction and all that. The other person, they may not have that much, but still they're in there.
Right.
That's not good enough for them.
Right.
That's
Right.
not good enough for them.
It's always not good enough. They want it all. They want it all. And like I said, that person wanted it all. They wanted it all. Just because you changed the S to a Z, that was your creative input. Changing a Q to a K, you thought that you could just put your name on everything that I write. Absolutely not. And even till this day, I do not have access to the sharing app that we use with all my ideas and my scripts. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna let you have it as a parting gift.
It's right.
It's easy for me to start over. I'm a creator. So I can start over off the top of my head.
Exactly.
You're the one that has the issue creating. So,
and you know what we want to say about that? Because I'm tired of people that don't do right.
Yeah.
Well, I always thank booty energy.
Yeah, because we see y'all. But one thing about it, when you are a creator,
yes,
baby, you're gonna come up with more ideas. And you know what? It was probably best that y'all went y'all separate ways, because I'm more than sure the ideas start rolling like this.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And opportunities too started rolling in.
Come
you was
on
blocking
now.
your blessings with that being, that was blocking your blessings with all that hateration.
Absolutely. And it's negative energy. Like you were talking about the negative energy. It's negative energy. It's bad energy. It's never going to go well. We're always going to argue. There's always going to be an issue, you know? But like I said, a lot of opportunities start coming in. I'm working with two young ladies actually out of Atlanta, and they're on their projects and their film, and I'm helping them write and get that stuff situated. And I'm okay with being a co-writer.
Yes, that's the problem with people. Everybody want to be in the front. Look, see me. I prefer to be in the back doing the stuff. Y'all can be in the front doing what y'all do. Y'all be right there.
Yeah,
I'll be over there doing this and doing that and doing the third. I'm a team player.
Right. Me too.
I love being a team player. I can be right here if you need me to be right here. However, I prefer, to work cohesively. Everyone works.
Me too. I'm not trying to be a shot caller. I'm not trying to override your shot calling. Let's work together. That's all I'm there for. I'm a very humble person, extremely humble person.
Yes.
That's who I am to the core. So, the relationship should have ended a long time ago. So I take accountability for the role that I played in it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to just point the finger at someone, or you did this and you did that. I take full on accountability of the role that I played in this situation. It just should have been dissolved a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do that. We go through that. And Maddie said, watching and looking, trying to steal ideas, but nobody can never do it like you anyway.
They sure cannot, because you don't think like I do.
Exactly.
You can't execute like I do.
Facts.
Absolutely not. So yes, Maddie, you are on point with that.
Yes. And I just want to say that it was not a in-person meet, but when I seen GeeLo online and I seen what she do, honey, I jumped in her inbox.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, because I was highly intrigued.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is a woman that do film and all this. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I dib and dab with the camera. So
right.
Of course, I wanted to know more. I want to know, what all you do?
Yes.
So, and honey, we've been rocking ever since.
Since. I'm happy we met that way.
Me too.
One day you get a handle of that, the video, you can, see what I'm saying? Like,
yes. Absolutely.
One black business to another black business.
Exactly.
Right.
It's all about supporting one another, and
exactly.
And being able to collaborate without any malice.
Yes.
Exactly.
It ain't about getting each other, it's about getting their head together.
Exactly. I'm
I don't do
definitely
what y'all
on
do.
that.
I deal in that. I don't do what I don't behind the camera. I can't write. But when you win, I win. When he win, I win too. No.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. I hope Homegirl catch it. Maybe she could share it. Maybe she could pay for it and watch it. Because at the end of the day, I'm doing this for the actors that participated in this because I want to, like, create a web series. And I also want to pay them for their time
Yes.
Yes.
because I
Yes.
appreciate that. I
Yes.
appreciate them lending their talents. We would be on set from like 7 a.m. in the morning to like midnight.
Yes.
So I want to show them that I appreciate them and I honor them and I'm grateful that they made this possible because without them, I would have nothing.
Facts. Those are the facts. But you know
Yeah.
what? God is going to make it happen because
Absolutely.
once you start putting that energy out there, look at all of the stuff that's happened since the first day you started filming.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, to be honest, that's nobody but God. And, you have to put your best foot forward, but God is going to do everything that you can't do, but you got to do your part.
Absolutely. You have to. It's hard work, but you gotta put in that elbow grease. That's the only way he's gonna know if you're serious or not.
Exactly.
Hard work, dedication, humility.
Yes.
Exactly.
Get the humility because without that, be humble about everything that you receive.
Everything.
Every blessing.
Everybody on that set, I treated with respect and love. I mean, even though they weren't getting paid, but I made sure they were nourished. I made sure they were hydrated.
Yes.
I just wanted to make them as comfortable as possible. So anybody that was on that set, I treated them with the utmost respect at all times.
All right.
Because I appreciated them.
Since we talking about the people that were on the set,
yes,
let's go ahead and let me share this picture of the people that were on the set because I saw that you shared.
Yes. Yes.
Boom.
Oh,
Yes.
that's beautiful.
That's the ensemble cast. It's about 20-something people in this picture, more or less, not including the cameraman and the sound engineer. And these people were a joy to work with. Some of them I knew, and some of them the other entity knew. And we just kind of brought them together. We had a casting call, pretty good show outs. And so we were able to boil it down at the final casting show. At the final casting, so we can see who we're going to put on the show. So yeah, these people were a joy to work with, an absolute joy.
Hey, I'm proud of you, G.
Thank you.
It took
grateful.
hard work, dedication to get what you got done.
It did. And this is under the other entity when we were doing the casting call. So I don't want you to think it was under Rose Gold Pen. This was under the other entity. Right.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. And we definitely want to give our props to the two real queens because, one thing about situations like this that I have noticed, because believe it or not, I've had to start over too, honey.
Yeah.
I was a part of something and it just wasn't working with myself and the people because sometimes I don't understand people. You don't want to go ahead and do what's best for the project because you want to, me, and my, and I.
Right.
All right. To be honest, I understand why people are solo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's less headache. It may take longer, but it's less headache.
Yeah.
The work that I did, I needed about 10 people. Post shooting the film, post production.
Yeah.
We needed about 10 people.
Yeah.
So it's not easy at all.
It's not easy. Well, right now, let's go ahead and get into some of the things that I saw in the film.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and put the film back up right quick.
Okay.
Because, like I said, Sunshyne and myself, we watched the film one time. Then we went back and watched it again, just so we could get the full experience.
Okay.
And, both times, you can watch a movie one time and you get what you get. But then when you watch it again, you get something else.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. It's like the first time I watched it, I was like, okay. because I guess I was just excited for somebody that I know got this film on Amazon. Like, boom,
Right.
go ahead. But then the second time I watched it, I was more into exactly what was going on in the film.
Right.
Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is when the film come on. There's this young lady, and her mother is hollering, being too loud, honey. I mean, you can use your inside voice, honey. You inside, and she like, watch your sister, honey. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Earl coming tonight, and she want to do this, and she want to do that. She want to go out, and she's asking this child to watch her children, which is her
Right.
siblings, but I just don't agree with that wholeheartedly.
Right.
Just depends on the situation. I didn't agree with it in this situation, especially because I know you're not being a real mother. But anyway, we'll finish on with this.
Mm-hmm.
So that brought me to the idea of kids watching their siblings, and does this perpetuate or influence teen pregnancy or a child growing up too fast, if you will?
I would say it can perpetuate that because you're leaving the child at home. You don't know what they're exposed to when you're not there. You don't know what they're watching. You don't know who they're on the phone with. You don't know what if they have somebody even coming over. So you're leaving them kind of in a world where they're pretty much free, and they're probably not even going to watch those kids or their siblings while you're gone either, you know, because you can't take a child that's small or that young, because a lot of this stuff is about my life. So I remember I was 6 years old, and my mom would leave me at home with my 2-year-old brother. But back then there weren't that many daycares, and it's either you're gonna leave them with a neighbor or something like that. So maybe she just decided we just got to stay in the house and she'll lock the door. But we knew how to open the door, and we knew how to get out there. Fortunately, we didn't have that this type of technology back then. So we were pretty much just in the house, or we'll go outside, go to the corner store, or run down the street. I mean, we were still in danger, you know. Anything could have happened. We could have got hit by a car, somebody could have came in the house, all kinds of stuff. But one thing I can say, because of my mother's irresponsibility,
yes,
it showed me how to be responsible. So I, on the other end of the spectrum, did not experience or did not have to go through, adolescent pregnancy and having kids at an early age and all that, or being promiscuous at all. That did not happen to me. But I've heard people with similar stories that has happened. They're pregnant at an early age. They grow up too fast. They start talking and thinking like adults at 14.
Yeah.
And of course, it definitely can perpetuate depending on the individual. But I wanted to break chains when I realized, because when you're going through this stuff, you don't realize it.
Yes.
As you get older, you start to have epiphanies. So I started having epiphanies. Okay, so this was what was going on. Okay, the guy that she told me to call uncle, that was really her man. And wait a minute, hold up, how we got these bunk beds? Hold up, 1 second. Okay, all right, now it's starting to make sense. And that's how I put 2 and 2 together with my mom. So I grew up in an unstable environment. Of course, we were poor, and she was irresponsible. So I got violated in so many ways. I'm Gina in the at the end, the end part of the film. We won't say too much about it, but I am Gina.
I know exactly what part you're talking about, because when that part came on, I said, "There's a part 2."
Yeah,
definitely.
And so it's a lot of things that we don't talk about, and even until this day, some people are still doing it. Like I see people with their children, and they got a bottle of Hennessy next to them. How are you watching this child? How are you being a responsible adult? You're outside of the house with your child and you're drinking. Like my mom used to send me with my father. My father's in there too. And he was always inebriated. So why are you sending me with this man?
I got you right here.
Why are you sending me with this man? I mean, stumbling drunk. You will
Oh
walk
my
in this
God.
man's house and you're stepping on Budweiser cans. So
Oh
my
my
father
God.
used to get robbed when I was with him. I'm 6, 7 years old with this man. He getting robbed.
Oh my
And
God.
then think about it. If he's inebriated, is he taking me to Chuck E. Cheese? Is he taking me to a playground or a park? Absolutely not. He is taking me around his other inebriated
Drunk friends.
friends.
The juke jump.
Right. And so that's when a lot of the violation and molestation came to play, because my father was helpless. He couldn't help. He couldn't protect me. He was
Right.
extremely irresponsible. So, like I say, a lot of these things are about how I grew up, my mom, my dad. I just kind of, I still have sisters and brothers and siblings. I don't want them to kind of put all of it together. So I kind of chopped it up in different ways so they wouldn't realize, okay, is she talking about our mom or is she talking about our dad? So I just chopped it up in a way that they wouldn't maybe they wouldn't see it that way.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to Miss Bobby Moon. She's in the building. Miss
Hey,
Bobby
Bobby.
always come through and support. Miss Bobby, we are talking to Miss GeeLo, the writer and producer of the Rose Gold Pen movie, Through the Eyes of a Child.
Yes.
And also want to still give a shout out to Two Real Queens, honey.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where we at, Miss Bobby. She's definitely a special one, and we definitely want to put her up on the pedestal tonight to show her that we appreciate her. Okay.
Yeah,
I
we
appreciate that.
everything for Miss Bobby.
I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes. Okay, now back to the film. All right. So also in the film, I saw this young girl. She grows up, right? And then she also starts to perpetuate the same behaviors,
Right.
that
As her mom.
Yeah, as her mom. And I'm like,
now see,
that's it.
In my brain, I was like, well, wouldn't she remember the times when she was a child and these things affected her this way, so she wouldn't do the same thing? That's what my mind would went through. I was like, oh, that's her grown up. You're doing the same thing. Why would you do that?
Right.
If you went through, why would you do that?
Exactly.
That part made me mad. I was like, I was supposed to my TV. I ain't gonna hold you. I was supposed to my TV.
You know what I think? And I also think that that's her childhood trauma that's bleeding over into her life. And some people don't recognize it as trauma.
Yeah.
They recognize it as a way of life. So because my mama did it, it's okay if I did it. That's how I was raised, so I'm gonna do it this way too. And it can be totally wrong, but no matter what you say, you can be blue in the face. It doesn't register to them. They think it's actually normal behavior.
That was just wrong for me. It really was.
Definitely was wrong.
It was nothing short than a mirror.
Yeah.
It transitioned from a mirror.
Yes.
Like, boom, I see you doing this, then boom, now you're doing it now.
Right.
And and one of the things that throwed me back all the way, child, when she said to my son, go and watch your siblings and all this, and I might bring you a daddy back.
Yeah, if you act right, I might bring your daddy back.
Baby, like she said, why my daddy? Bring my dang on daddy back.
Oh yeah, because generations. What is it? Is it Z? They not with it. They not with it.
Oh no,
they're gonna let you know.
Child.
They're gonna let you know. Me growing up, I could never say that to my mom, because you already know children should be seen and not heard, right?
Yes.
But that Generation Z, they're not playing with nobody.
Oh,
they can tell you how they feel. So I wanted to incorporate that, how, some of the kids of today that grew up in, in the 90s or grew up in the 2000s, how they would respond to something like that. That sounds absolutely ridiculous to them. What you mean you're going to bring me back a daddy? I got it. Where my daddy at?
She got her together real quick.
Really quick. And so
that was shady.
So her generation is what's bringing her to reality. That's the whole point of that scene. Bring her back to reality. What you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? That don't even sound right. But you know what? Growing up, there's some women, aunties, and big sisters and cousins. They think like that.
Facts on facts on facts.
Yeah, they think like that, and they think it's normal. So she's breaking the chain. No, this is not normal. And that's why she responded that way to her mom.
And
And
I don't like that. I make the rules, I can break the rules.
Right.
Like, come on, let's give some respect even to a child so you can
Yes.
get respect.
Absolutely.
people forget.
And that's something I talk to people about all the time, mothers and everything. You need to allow your child to express themselves.
Yes.
Let them know whatever their thoughts are, they matter to you.
Exactly.
Like, let them speak. Let them tell you how they feel. Like,
Yes.
Get out of the mundane of how was your day at school? It was bad, it was good. And then you leave that topic alone. No, dive into it. Let them know you care and you want to hear about their day. What did you learn today?
Yes.
What happened in math class?
Yes.
What happened at lunch? Like, we have to communicate with our kids, because believe it or not, when we don't communicate with our kids in such a way, we are teaching them how not to communicate when they get older and they get into this real world. They can't have a dialogue with anybody.
Come on now. Come on with it, G.
I taught my kids how to speak.
Absolutely.
I took my kids to the doctor. Mom, what's wrong? I ask them.
Exactly.
They can learn to identify what's wrong with them in the first place and learn how to verbalize it and be able to speak for themselves. Don't ask me.
Yes.
What's wrong with me?
Exactly.
My kids can talk about anything and everything time. And I'm not, you will see my children and you will hear my children respectfully.
That's how it should be.
Because they and that's what's wrong with the kids. They have such bottled up thoughts and feelings and expressions, and they have no one to actually be comfortable in talking to, because the second, black folks, the second I be like, Mom, I feel this way. Okay, baby. Now your mom on the phone, and now your auntie know, your grandmama know, your cousins know, and everybody know your and it matters within itself. You know what I'm saying? Like kids also coming to talk to their parents as well.
Yeah, you have to. That's the only way to make a cohesive and healthy environment. Like, a child can come to you and talk to you about anything. That is an accomplishment. That is also rewarding. If your child is afraid of you, they're not going to come and talk to you about anything.
At all.
You're not going to know anything. So if you're telling the child that they need to be afraid of you, or I'm gonna beat you behind when you get home, and you're taking out the belt and you're beating them with the belt and cords and all that, that is not somebody that's going to grow up to respect you. Number one, that is not somebody that's going to love you deeply. I'm telling you right now, a lot of these families and a lot of these children that are in these abusive families are there because that is their survival tactic. Where else they got to go? So if I disrespect her, or if I disrespect my mom or my dad, they're gonna put me out. So they gotta survive in that toxic environment. So that's all they got. What else can they do? So they have to endure that until they go off to college. And now when they go off to college, you never hear from them again, because they couldn't wait to get out your house.
Come on now.
They in the military. They done moved in with their boyfriend because they're secure in those areas, and they rather be there than with you. So when you get older and you're dying and you sick and nobody want to go see you at the nursing home, don't nobody show up to your funeral, you wonder why.
Facts.
You wonder why. No, don't wonder why. You know why.
In the hospital, I used to work in the IC for 10 years. I have seen the elderly in code. There was this one code, this code went on, I swear, for like hours. And the children were standing at the door. And they were saying, like, there's nothing. They were like, no, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're supposed to hear bones break. No, keep going. I'm like, why do you want this to go for everything we suffered through as children? Oh, that was deep. And I walked away because that shit cost me. I can't do that.
Yeah, you can't.
I had to walk away.
Yeah.
And they had to continue because this is what the children did.
Right.
It was not a good day.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't. But you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay one way or another for all you did. And the first thing they want to talk about, they want a Bible thump. God said, the Bible said, spare the rod. I don't remember the verse, but spoil the child, spare the rod,
That's
something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
And I swear people just misinterpret some things. I'm not a preacher, so I can't go into the breakdown of it, but I feel like some people just misinterpret and just take it too far.
Every time. Every
Just
time. You
take
is
it too
not
far.
lying. You is not
You
lying.
know, so but that's their defense mechanism. You know?
Well, I also noticed in the film we got a young man who's taking money from a strange man,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at this character and I'm thinking to myself, he seems like he's hiding
Right.
because I see him,
Oh yeah.
bending over the car.
Very,
So,
very touchy.
and I want to add this also. He seemed as if he probably was gay.
Yes, he was. So his character was created for those LGBT kids that cannot come out to their parents, right?
Mm.
So imagine you growing up as an LGBT kid, your parents do not know. Actually, this actor has an opposite story. His mom is super, super supportive of him being LGBT. We had an interview with her after the film was showed. After the film was when we were done shooting, we did some interviews with some of the actors, and he has a wonderful parent. But I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
shed light because a lot of times, especially in our community,
Mhm.
the LGBT kids do not have that support. So they kind of get into things. Like say I'll just give you an example. A young man that's coming into himself, and they go through that puberty stage and they trying to figure out who they are, and maybe he wants a dress, or maybe he wants to wear nail polish, maybe he wants to, maybe relax his hair, right? What would be the response from a black parent? Boy, I ain't raising no. I
Yeah.
don't want to say the word.
You get out my house with all that
Yeah, and they kick
gay-ish.
you out. And they kick you out. They do all this stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of trapped. You're kind of being held in captivity because you can't express yourself the way that you would like, right?
Mhm.
So now there are predators out there that wait for this exact
Yeah,
moment. This
very much.
exact moment. So I know that you can't do this at home, but I can finance you and I can get you all the stuff that you need to be you. And then by
Mhm.
the time you get home, you disguise and be your normal self. And so that's unfortunately what this young man is going through. He's doing some strange things for some change. And of course, his parents do not know. He is being he's like, older men are preying on him.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, it's so much stuff within this film. If I get to finish it up or turn it into a web series, it also talks about these men that probably have wives at home. And then, they're doing all this kind of stuff, molesting and, being predatory towards children. And so it
Yes.
exposes all that kind of stuff, but not in a Tiffany Haddish way. I know y'all are
Okay.
Tiffany. Okay. So,
Okay.
that's what that story is about. Let's trying to encourage parents. Let's give in a little bit. Let him be him a little bit. Oh, not until he turned 18 and out my house. Okay. I don't know if that's the answer because you're depriving someone from being who they are. That
Yes.
means they feel like they're entrapped. They're being held in captivity. So you're not allowing them to express themselves. So there's an issue with that.
And then
And they
people
In our
also
community.
like when you do this, make something that's taboo, forbidden, you
Yeah,
only keep them closer to what they feel is taboo. Go ahead.
exactly.
Let's go paint your nails. You want to wear
Yeah,
heels? Let's wear heels. You want to walk?
right,
Let's do that.
right.
You beat the stigma of it all. You free their minds of it, and you let them. When you let people explore their own lives, they go through their own path, and they
Exactly.
know what they want. And when you tell someone, it's like you're forcing them to be someone they're not. You're
Right.
only projecting them more in that area.
Right, exactly. I agree. Because a lot of times I think parents want their kids to be exactly like them. I want you to be a stand-up guy. I want you to be a strong black woman. I want you to go to an HBCU. I want you to do this because that's the stuff that you did. But you're not realizing we're in a different era. These kids don't want to do what we did. And that's okay. And let's respect it. And let's support them. But
Yes.
they don't want to do that.
Okay. We're going to dig deeper. So I also noticed in the film, we got a father that cannot be a true father to his child because the baby mama all in her feelings and want nothing but money. Mr. Brandon clearly is a hardworking man. He has a mild manner. And Miss Kara, Miss Baby Mama Child, she is all about that money, honey. He's giving her money to support the children, but she throwing it in his face. That ain't enough. That ain't enough.
Right.
Like, and then her friend that she didn't want to hear basically checks her and let her know, you better be glad you even got a baby daddy that's looking out for his children, honey.
Right.
Because guess
some
what?
people have it worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because she said she zapped out 2 times.
Yeah. Some people are not even getting the help. They're not even getting a dollar. So I wanted to create that character, Karen, in that manner, because a lot of times people don't see that. They don't see the stuff that the mother's doing on the background. They always zoom in on the man most of the time and then be like, he's a deadbeat, but not realizing there's some deadbeat mothers out there. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I wanted, with this film, I wanted that to be balanced. I didn't want to make it a bashing thing where I'm bashing this person or this gender and that gender. I wanted to make it a even balance. With Brandon, the character Brandon, played by Cedric Cope, he he's a hard worker and he doesn't make that much money, and he is trying to be there for the child. A lot of times it doesn't have to be a financial exchange, and I'm gonna tell you why. So give me a second, let me explain. Of course, we have to take care of the kids with money, but guess what? If he was keeping the kids, let's say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that gives you as a mother some free time on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of times as mothers, we don't get peace. We don't get a moment of solitude. We don't get to relax. So if a man, if he's picking up his child from Thursday to Sunday, that gives you a lot of time to relax. Doesn't it? So it's about co-parenting. That's really what it's about. Some people don't want to co-parent. And it's always easy for the man to just leave the mom and the child. But I wanted to show and I wanted to depict that there are some men out there, there are some single fathers, and there are some men out there that really want to take care of their children. But some women give them a hard time. And as you can see in that scene, she kept talking and referring back to who was in his car.
Yes. Who didn't even have nothing to do with her.
Is that why you're giving me a hard time? Because you think somebody's in my car? Can I just see my kids? So I wanted to depict that sometimes these men do have a hard time.
Yes.
Seeing about their children.
Yes. It is not always the man. Trust and believe.
Exactly.
Because
and so just I think like for example, when she makes reference about the money, as a mom, the child is living with you. And yes, as a mom, you're paying the rent, you're paying utilities, car insurance, gas, all that. None of that goes towards that. He comes, you're doing your portion. And by no means am I saying the mom is not doing anything. I'm just showing a contrast between, okay, yes, he's getting $371, which he probably can't afford, but he has to give you the $371. And it's nowhere near what your bills are and your financial responsibilities are for the month anyway, because you're already contributing. That child lives with you. We can't take that away from the mom. The mom is already contributing, but for some reason, men think, oh, I'm giving her all this money. She probably go get her nails done. She probably going to Hawaii. She probably doing this and she probably doing that. And that is not even the case. That $371 don't even cover 25% of my bills.
Come on with it.
So it's not the fact that she needed her half. She's already doing it. But I just wanted to certain things I say on purpose. I wanted the characters to say certain things on purpose to convey a certain message. And it means so many different things to so many different people.
And my child support sometimes it's like, as mothers, we genuinely give maybe 120% to our kids.
Yeah.
So if I take you $371 and go get my feet done,
Yeah.
after I pay these bills,
Yeah.
and put this food, and bought your kids some stuff, and
Right.
bought your kids snacks, yes.
Yeah, you can't tell me how to allocate that money. He can't tell you how to allocate that money.
I've given all the
you basically paying me back for what I already spent. You know?
Come on with it.
Thank you. Because my kids' nails and feet are done. I want mine done.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. However, that's the thing. And it is hard on men to actually pay the child support and don't forget to see their children. I know a couple of guys that I know that pay hefty amounts of money.
Yeah. Cannot see them.
Don't see their kids.
And you know what? I don't want to say that they're victims, but they can, if they go through the court system, they can get shared custody. They can get full custody if they want to. You know, they have to play their part as well. Don't just sit back and be like, I just can't see them. That child is going to grow up and be like, well, why didn't you fight for me harder?
Exactly.
I was just about to say. It's all about
put forth the fight now, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That effort matters. The fact that you did for your presence to be felt and seen and heard, that's what's going to actually matter to the kids. Because you know what, you can jibber jabber, talk, but a child always know and see, really had their best interest at heart.
Absolutely.
What they were saying that they were doing.
Right.
You know.
Some people just don't get that. Time is, in essence, we need the money, but time is just as important. That time you put in is extremely important.
You're absolutely right. This is one of the things I've seen on the film that I definitely wrote a note about.
Okay.
The children showing up to the school late all the time, eating Takis for breakfast.
That happens more than you ever know.
How is your child going to be prepared to learn and be focused and have a productive day if they always late? You're teaching them how to be late.
Right.
And if you probably will come out better just fixing them a toast bread.
Right.
Baby Takis, they probably stomach gonna be tore up in 30 minutes.
Yes, exactly. Just poor nutrition, sending them off to school late, not giving them a decent breakfast. When I did that scene, it wasn't so much about that part. It was more so about nosy school officials. Always
baby, she was on it.
They know everything about your family. That's what I was really going with it. But like you said, you know how you envision something, but people see different things. Yes, so I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, having Takis for breakfast is not cool at all. It's not nutritional. It doesn't help their brain function. It doesn't help them to focus. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything positive for that child's academic progress. But you'll be amazed. These kids be drinking sodas in the morning and chips and all kind of stuff.
I did notice the school official, she was coming down on the parents and the children.
Absolutely. Calling them out on their
she was calling them out. She was not playing with them, which is played by yours truly, Miss GeeLo, honey.
Yes.
Y'all go watch the film. Make sure y'all go and watch the film, honey, because it was going down, honey. I'm trying to tell you. All right, so I see another contrast in a male in the film as well. We got this male co-worker who don't give a damn if he see his children or not.
Not a damn. And that happens as well in our society. Some people disconnect from their children. They move on. They find another woman. They're with that woman. You'll see him taking care of that woman's kids, but not worried about his. He worried about going to the strip club. He worried about partying all weekend. He don't have any child support coming out of his pocket. So he living the life, a bachelor's life. He ain't got no kids.
Not only that, but he got on the new Jordans.
Right. Yeah, that's what's important. He got the new kicks, he looking fresh. You at work. Like really? Like you really showing off your Air Force Ones at work? Like, okay. Just to show how lame and ignorant some people can really be. That's what they prioritize. That's what they see as important. But what about these children that need you? That needs their father, that you're not seeing them. So when I create the web series, I'm elaborating on all this stuff.
Okay.
And all these things. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Chris Douglas Fletcher. We are definitely having an interview moment with none other GeeLo, the owner of Rose Gold Pen. She is definitely the writer of this film, Through the Eyes of a Child, which is out on Amazon Film. Make sure you go and watch that, Chris. Go and support Black businesses.
Thank you, Chris.
So let's get into another character, Jace.
Okay.
The mom wants her to file papers, but she is conflicted about ruining her baby father's life.
Right. And that happens all the time. That's guilt. You feel guilty. You feel, you shouldn't do this, or he did. I was there at one point, Yeah, I'll share that with you. I was there at one point where I did not want to put the father of my children on child support. I just didn't. I felt that it was wrong at that time. And, I felt like it was unfair. All the things they got to go through the court system, they lose their license, they this, they that, But then I got to a point, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of you not recognizing how good of a mom I am to my children. And you're not respecting that. And you think you're about to get a free ride. And so by this time, my older two were already over 18. So there was no hope for them. But I still had the youngest one. So I said, you know what? Gonna put you on child support for him.
Yes.
And that's what I did. So, they retroactively go back 2 years. And then they got to keep paying on and on. So I did it because of the principle. Not because I needed it, but because of the principle. So this was a person that money never touched my hand when it came to him.
Wow.
And if it did, seldomly, because maybe he owed me from something I had to pay for. And he needed to bring me his half. But other than that, he wasn't the type of person that was going to come by. Hey, how the kids doing? Do they need anything? Do I need to get them anything? He was not that kind of person. So it was the principle for me. So even when it would come to buying groceries, he would get food from a church drive and bring it to my house. Why do I need 20 bags of mashed potatoes? Why do I need 10 bags of bagels with no cream cheese, no deli meat, no cheese, but I need 10 bags? And when we don't need all these bagels, freeze them. Why do I need 5 pounds of tomato sauce with no pasta? So that was it was the principle for me.
Why would it make the pasta?
Without the pasta.
He could have gave you flour and eggs to make the pasta.
Or, maybe 1 week I'll get cream cheese but no bagels. So for me, that was church drive food. And I was like,
yes,
what? It's the principle for me.
Yes.
So I put him on it. And I had no regrets, never turned back. Don't feel sorry. I don't care. And the person you with, whoever you with, they can help you pay for it. And I left it at that.
I mean, he basically got 2 years free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely. Be thankful for that, baby. Be thankful for that.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
So Jace, that's that character that feels sorry. I was there at one point, feel sorry for him and don't want to put him on it and all that. Eventually she's gonna give in. So
good.
Okay, so this was funny to me, child. When I tell you I was cracking up at Mr. Devon Ferguson, honey. Child, if I really don't want the job, but I'm here, I done showed up was a person. Child, when he pulled out that resume, I got my resume right here.
Right.
It was in the office.
Then, not only was the resume wrinkled up,
right.
Child, he done told this woman he need to get paid.
Yes.
Under the table.
Right. Do you know how many women go through this with their kid's father, where the kid's father purposely either does not work or he gets paid under the table to avoid child support?
Yep.
So that's what the message is conveying there. They do that all the time. They want to avoid it, so they just work under the table.
It don't make no
Yes.
sense.
I knew a man that he would get 2 checks. When he got paid, he got 2 checks. One was the real check, but one was the fake check. So he was working with the administrator. The administrator would produce a check that showed that he made way less money, so he would pay less in child support.
Good. Ain't no way.
Yes.
I'm going to bed. Good night.
Yes.
Y'all have a good night. It was nice being here. It was really amazing. I'm going to bed.
The measures that people take, I'm telling you, these men, they take all kinds of measures to
I
avoid
know.
child support. So, yeah, that's what that was about.
It was a blatantness for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm here because I want to work under the table.
Right.
Miss Lady that probably has kids. I'm telling you, I'm trying to be child support.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then he pops up with earbuds in his ear.
Mm-hmm. Not a care in the world.
I'm
Not
talking
a care.
about you can just tell, child, that I ain't studying nothing, but baby, can you pay me under the table?
Yeah. He wasn't really there for a job. He was just there. He wasn't
Exactly.
he was just there doing the bare minimum.
Yes.
You know, some of these men, whether they will avoid a job, they would avoid employment to avoid child support. They will.
And it's sad.
It's very sad.
Which takes me to another point where, once again, the name of the film is Through the Eyes of a Child. Do you not know that in the eyes of a child, they are watching you and you are perpetuating all of this bad, negative energy onto this child? They're not going to respect you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this, you could possibly be spending time with the child, but when you don't care about certain things, you're probably not spending time with the child.
Right.
Which is going to be a whole nother situation.
Mm-hmm. A whole nother
within itself.
situation. They get up, they get older. They don't know how to communicate with people that they're in relationships with. All kind of turmoil and in these toxic situations, all because when they grew up, they didn't know no better. They didn't see a healthy relationship. They weren't living in a healthy environment to see these things and be, in their upbringing. So they don't know how to exude it, when they get older and in their own lives, because even the last character, Devon Ferguson, he didn't have his father when he was growing up.
Yeah, because when he said my father took child support, I was like, well, wouldn't you want to do that for your child since you didn't have it? Don't do what you didn't have. Like I would think that you would want to be the antithesis of what you had growing up.
Right. They just keep the cycle going. They keep that toxic cycle going. Because I didn't have it, I'm not gonna give it.
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does not, but really and truly, we talk about this all the time. Mental health is real, and when you go through a traumatizing childhood, even though it doesn't seem traumatizing to Black people because we just got used to trauma, you just become a traumatized adult that does not know how to be functional in society
at all.
Very much.
And then when you have your peanut circle behind you, not correcting you or not making you take accountability for some of the things, you still think it's normal. You still think it's okay. I like to have a set of friends that hold me accountable.
Exactly.
If I'm doing some bullshit, call me out on it.
Thanks.
Exactly.
And I feel the same way about these men. If you're a man that upholds integrity, you take care of your children, why are you hanging with a guy that doesn't?
Exactly, because I think
not addressing it
speaks volumes about the person.
Right. The saying, birds of a feather flock together.
Yes.
That's kind of what it means. You're not holding him accountable. Dude, go get your children. Go see about your children. If you got to go to court, go to court. You can't be here taking care of your kids and you dealing with somebody that's not. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
I've never understood that. And how women can deal with men that have children and don't take care of them is beyond me.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Especially when you have children.
Yeah.
What does that about you as a person, as a mother.
Right. It says a lot, and it ain't good.
Mm-mm.
Maddie said, and that's how they become so toxic in and out of different relationships. Can't make it on their own, have no type of stability because they wasn't raised right.
Right. That's right. And people like Devon Ferguson, they're the type of men that prey on women who are on public assistance. They either have Section 8, they get food stamps and whatever. They prey on those women because those women don't have a great financial need, if that makes sense.
Yes.
This is what I've seen. So they prey on that kind of woman. Okay, maybe her rent is $100. All he got to do is chuck up $100 and he keeping $600 in his pocket. That sounds good to anybody. As irresponsible as that is, he's okay with that.
Yes.
And we have men that pray, and we have women that accept that behavior too.
Yes.
You know, so it's a terrible cycle that we just need to learn how to break, because so many people grow up and you know, and they're still dealing with their childhood trauma. I also want to promote therapy. Like, we got to start going to therapy. A lot of jobs offer EAP or EPA benefits where they cover at least 5 free visits, therapy visits a year. Get on there. Seek that out, because there's a reason why they have implemented in the workforce, because they know that people are going through depression, people are stressed out, they bring all that stuff to work, and it'll probably make you less productive. So that's probably why they incorporate it in employment benefits. But seek therapy. And I always think that we're never healed. We're never healed. We're just coping or dealing. I had a conversation with a couple of women the other day, and she made that point. We're just coping. We're not really healing or heal. We're not 100% healed. Just in the same sense of, we're not, oh, are you happy? Are you a happy person? Maybe today I am, but tomorrow I might not be. So you can't, it's a continuing thing. You have to keep doing things to make yourself happy. Same way with healing. Sometimes you're going to get triggered. Whenever you get triggered, you are not healed.
Exactly.
People,
I say it all the time.
You're not healed. Yes. You dealing with it. You coping with it, but you're not healed. You're healing.
100%
we got to put the gerund. We got to put the gerund behind heal. You're healing. You're not healed. That's past tense. We're healing. You know, so I just want to encourage our people to seek out, you know, mental health, seek out therapy, mental health therapy. It is extremely important, not just for you. And think about family therapy too, not just for you, but for your kids. Be able to dissect what's going on. Why your daughter don't like you? Why she hated you since she was 14? Why she moved out of house? Why she ran away? Why, you know, like, why? People do not dive in or dig deep into those things because a lot of times they don't care, number one. And number two, they don't want to face the reality and hear the truth.
Exactly.
But it's needed. It's needed. So many breakthroughs can come from that. But people don't want to break through. They just want to leave you in suspense till they die.
Exactly. And then so many chains can be broken, and also so many family curses can be reversed.
Exactly. And that's the purpose of the film. I wanted people to see themselves or to see somebody they may even know. And I want them to see themselves in this film. And hopefully maybe they can think about it and be like, you know what? That's me. Let me change. Or let me seek help. Let me seek help. Let me mend the relationship with my daughter. Let me mend the relationship with my son. Let me mend the relationship with my father or my mother. That's the purpose of the film. When I envisioned it, that's what I wanted people to realize and take accountability for some of the stuff that they do, you know, to their children, and just making sure that they don't the cycle isn't repeated. That was the motive.
Okay, well, we got one more character we're gonna address before we get ready to out this show, which you have been really great, G. You have really put in perspective a lot of things in this film. So I'm so glad that you made it, because it gives you an inside look on exactly the eyes of a child. Like, seriously.
I appreciate it. I'm humble. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's talk about Sherman, honey, the drunk father child.
So that stems from me being 6 years old, my mom allowing me to go with my father, who was inebriated all the time. I don't think I've ever seen my father sober ever. Okay. And him picking me up and taking me around his inebriated friends. And I remember this one of them. Of course, I didn't show it in the film because there's certain things that you just really don't need a visual on. But he picked me up and he put his tongue in my mouth. And I was 6 or 7 years old. And my father was right there. Couldn't do a darn thing about it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was right there, helpless, inebriated. He couldn't protect me. So growing up, I always felt like I was unprotected. I felt like I was neglected. Just because the parent is there does not mean that they're there. You really got to be present. So my parents may have been there, but they were not there. So I couldn't even think twice if my kid's father was a drunk to allow my kids to go with him inebriated. Absolutely not. Thank God he wasn't driving. He caught the bus everywhere, but still, I shouldn't have been with that man. So I was violated plenty of times just being around my father. And also my mom, she was very unstable. So she would rent a room from someone who was already renting an apartment. And I remember her being friends with one of the ladies. Her husband rented my mom a room with me and my little brother. And so we don't have access to the entire house. We only have access to, the room. And my mom and this young lady became friends. And so they would go out on the weekend and they would, go shopping, and they'll be gone for 4 or 5 hours, all day long. And I'm in the house with the husband. What you think going on? See what I'm saying? So
too much.
Yeah. So the that part was really about parental responsibility.
Yes.
We're supposed to protect our children, and you putting me in that kind of environment. I blame my mama and I blame my dad, because my mama didn't have to let me go.
Yes. Yes.
And my dad didn't have to pick me up.
Yes.
But that's how it happened, and that's how I got violated. So that's what that situation is about. That particular scene is about. Like, we have to protect our children, and that didn't happen for me.
Well, when I saw that scene, I immediately said, and it's wrote right here in my notes, I would not have let my child went with him
at all.
Yeah, I said, why would the mom let her go with this man and he's drunk?
Yeah.
That was my first thing. Why should him go with this man he's drunk? Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
What are you thinking? Well, for me, I'm gonna tell you what my mama did it. My mom had a newborn baby with a new man. So a lot of times she didn't want me around. So I remember they had moved and I stayed back with my dad and my aunt, but I was mostly with my aunt because my dad was just too wild. So I was with my aunt on my dad's side. And I think my mom just wanted to build her little family with my little brother and his dad. And she wasn't really too much worried about me. And so that's what I think her reasoning is for that. But I can't never ask her, because by the time I was mad with my mom for a long time, I didn't even shed a tear at her funeral. So that goes and tell you. And so by the time I could build the courage to talk to her, she had a stroke. She, her communication, she was a paraplegic at the time, and she had a lot going on. So that wasn't the time to have the conversation. So we kind of left it open. I never got any closure, and that's okay. She just taught me how not to be. That's all.
Come on now.
So,
because how can you shed a tear for a person that you can't truly say that you love and care for, because they never gave you a chance to be in that position with them?
Exactly. Never, ever. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. I've come to terms with it. Despite not having closure, I've come to terms with it, and I'm okay with it, and I just do the opposite of whatever she's doing, and that's it. And that's how I handle it.
Well, I definitely think that it was brilliant to put all of these things into a film
Mm-hmm.
so that people can get a look into how these type of things happen.
Right.
Because it needs to be talked about more.
Right.
It's a lot of things in the Black community just get swept under the rug and they never talk about it.
Right.
But I want to make sure I let everybody know, please make sure you go on Amazon
Prime,
the same place, Amazon Prime, where you be shopping.
Right.
And you see, I already got 2 things in my cart over here, honey. I'm gonna purchase this stuff at one point in time. But as you see, it's through the eyes of a child.
Yes.
So we're gonna make sure we share this on our page again for everybody to see, because we want everybody to support this independent film.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
That happens.
Say that one more time.
It happens to be a very good film.
Thank you.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I have to thank the cast. I have to thank I have to thank the other entity. You'll see it when you log in. The entity is there as the director and producer that I was a part of and created, and was CEO and president at one time with another person. So credit is given to the credit is given to the entity, and I thank all the actors that made this possible, and the cameraman, Beans and LaRue, and also Eric on the sound. So I appreciate it. And I thank you guys for having me on and let me explain the story and let me be a part of your show. I appreciate that.
Well, you are welcome to come on here anytime. We putting our bid in, and we're gonna put our energy out there that we get to work with you one day.
Absolutely, and I'm open to it. You know that already.
Yes,
you know that already.
Most definitely. And at this point in time, we want to give some words of encouragement before we get ready to let everybody go. So my words of encouragement, I just want to let everybody know that you please be aware of the children. The children have a voice. The children have feelings. The children are watching the adults. We can't just sit around and do anything in their faces and think that they're going to turn out to be A1 quality adults.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So my word to everybody is, if you have children, be attentive to your children.
Yes, I agree.
My word for the day is this: have your children be better people than you are today and tomorrow and the next day. Allow your children to live their own lives, not lives until they need to live. As long as love your baby, love them when they wake up, and love them when they go to sleep.
Most definitely. And GeeLo, you want to give some words of encouragement to the people?
I want y'all to turn the narrative around from children are supposed to be seen and not heard to children need to be seen and heard. Both of them.
Most definitely.
And that's all I got to say.
All right. And we definitely want to thank everybody for coming out and keeping it real with your girls, Sunshyne and Miss B Brown, the Revolutionary. And before we go, let's make sure we give a shout out to our sponsor of the show. All right, and make sure y'all share this episode. And once again, go and catch this film, honey. And baby, please go spend that $5, baby. Stop playing. Stop playing. Baby, you blow $5 on a sandwich.
You know?
So, let's do it. But,
thank you.
Y'all,
I appreciate it.
Most definitely, most definitely. Y'all have a good night, and we will see y'all next Tuesday, same time, same place.
All right, bye, guys. Thanks again.
Million pending.
All right.